Welcome to the No Name Music Cast. To follow us on Instagram, go to No Name Music Cast Podcast. To send us an email, it's nonamemusiccast@gmail.com. And to visit our website, go to nonamemusiccast.com. Now, on with the show. Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome to the No Name Music Cast. My name's Tim, and this is
Joy.
And a relatively calm introduction to recording this evening before we press record and play. Discussed a couple of topics and, just some kind of stuff that we're doing. It's fine.
He kind of said that as if we didn't spend 20 minutes talking about funerals. But that's a debate for another time. Take for that what you will. But he said it was so calm, and I'm like, was it?
Well, compared to some of the passionate chats we sometimes have.
That's fair. All right. So with that being said, I made Tim do a little bit of listening homework about 30 seconds before we went to record and said, I need you to listen to this. And it was the Chicks. They recently performed with Jimmy Fallon, right? Was it Jimmy Fallon?
It was Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel
is the cool host on ABC, the one you probably want to watch. Jimmy Fallon is, I got no time for Jimmy Fallon. He thinks he can
kind of sing, but he always just sounds like McDonald's. That's weird. Or it does like a weird version of Beast of Burden.
I think he's a better comedian and impressionist than he is a late night host.
I agree with that. But what's funny is Charlie and me were talking about Jimmy Fallon because, he used to be on SNL. Mm-hmm. And Charlie was talking about how he broke character all the time. So there you go. Anyway, with that being said, doesn't matter. Jimmy Kimmel was where I was trying to find. Tim corrected me on that. I didn't watch the whole episode. I just saw a little segment where it popped up, and it's the Chicks, formerly known as the Dixie Chicks. They now go by the Chicks. You can Google that. We don't need to get into details about that. It's just a choice they made. I love the Chicks. If you didn't already know this, we've talked about it on the podcast. Joy takes them up there with her Shania Twain love of the world. Have a really big soft spot for the Dollies and the Shanias and the Chicks who kind of bleed that country pop life. And that's what they do. And they do it quite well. I don't know how much Tim knows about the Chicks because I do think this is a very Southwest Virginia American kind of, and I don't think they come up very much when he's playing in local bands where most of the guys singing are dudes. Just saying, generally. But this was them singing I'm Not Ready to Make Nice. If you don't know that song, I will be very curtain the way I say this because I don't want to bring up too much in this. This is a song that was brought up after a lot of things happened that kind of canceled them for a short amount of time and then made a big comeback. It's a very powerful song if you've never heard it. If you don't know what happened, give it a goog. With that being said, they haven't performed live in 10 plus years. Natalie Maines is the lead singer. Her voice is absolutely phenomenal. And then the two who play in the back are their sisters, and they are so good at harmony. And for perspective, if you guys don't know anything about these, you have Natalie Maines. She is the lead singer. She plays guitar and bass. Then you have Martine. I think it's Marie. I don't know what her name is. I don't know how to say it. But she has vocals, fiddle, mandolin, and guitar. And then you get Emily. She does vocal, guitar, banjo, and Tim, I don't even know what this is. Bobro? Is that an instrument?
Dobro.
What is that?
A dobro is a acoustic guitar, which you've seen the cover of the Dire Straits' Brothers in Arms. It's a metal guitar, not always metal, but technically a metal guitar with a circle on the front, and it has like a drum head under it.
I've seen her play that, but I didn't know it had a different name.
Yeah, and when you play it, that drum head resonates, and it gives it a very distinctive sound. It's a dobro.
Well, there you go. So with that being said, they're all like multi-instrumentalists, fantastic, write all their own music, harmonies, everything perfect. Everything about them is perfect when they perform. And I was just so happy, and I'll let Tim tell you his impression. I don't know what his background was. They sounded phenomenal. Now, he did point out that he thought the mixing on the performance was wonderful, and I will let him take it from here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, It's very rare on network TV that the mix is good. David Letterman's mix was always good, but typically things on NBC, like Saturday Night Live and stuff, never sounds any good. But whoever's in charge of Jimmy Kimmel Live really is doing a great job. Now, of course, you have a great palette of musicians to work with. Their harmonies are tight, their instrumentation is really good. But I think the mixing was the icing on the cake there.
What did you think of their sound, though? You can admit to it sounded like, I mean, I don't know if you know the song. Do you know the song at all originally?
I do, and I actually own a CD copy of that album.
Look at you. And you can say, I really thought it was very close to what I would sign to be playing on the radio.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're amazing musicians at the top of their game. I mean, if they haven't performed for a while, they probably got together in a rehearsal studio for not very long and got that together and got that gig ready, as it were.
They did maybe 5-10 years ago. They had one song called Gaslighter, which Natalie Maines wrote about her ex-husband.
Yep, and I have a CD copy of Gaslighter as well.
And that was pretty much the last thing they did. With that being said, if you never went down the rabbit hole that is the Chicks, I would highly, highly suggest it. I think they're fantastic. I think they're incredibly underrated. And that's why I brought them up, because not only were they just put out on the thing, but, I was doing my women who are underrated in musician world. They did a lot of the same thing Shania or Dolly did, but you don't really hear them spoken about in that way. Some of that, I think, is the lore around upsetting the wrong people. Mm-hmm. Take that for what it is. But it's also just they kind of get put in a box. But I think they're wonderful. Harmony's fantastic. They're all multi-musician, rating up there with they can play 74 instruments. I didn't even know what one of the instruments was until Tim just told me. Take that. I mean, I knew it looks like a kind of like a steel guitar. I didn't know it had its own name. Is it played any differently, or is it just played like a guitar?
It's tuned the same. Some dobros have a square neck and it's designed to be played on your lap, and some dobros are designed with a regular guitar neck.
So it's literally the one they play on their lap. Okay.
Sometimes the dobro will have a regular guitar neck and you play it like a regular guitar.
Now, with that being said, I would highly, highly suggest, if you don't know anything about the Chicks, to listen to them. Go do what you're going to go do. I think Tim would agree that it wasn't a great even just going and Googling that actual YouTube would be worth your time.
Absolutely.
All right, Tim, what did you want to tell the people?
Okay, so this week, I mean, you're going to get this a little bit way after the fact, but this week, Rush started their 50-something world tour. Their opening night was on June the 7th, and it was at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles, which it's gone through many names over the years, but it's currently called the Kia Forum. The interesting thing about Rush is that 10 years ago, we sadly lost the drummer Neil Peart, and it was pretty much understood that was the end of Rush. Rush has only ever been a trio. They had a different drummer for at the very beginning of their career, but Neil Peart was the drummer for all of their success. And it was always the three of them. Neil Peart was the primary lyricist. And when we sadly lost him about 10 years ago, that was really, it for Rush, really. However, a little while ago, from about 6 months ago, maybe a bit longer, they said that they were going to do something again. And they recruited German drummer Annika Niles to be the drummer. Now, she was the drummer for Jeff Beck for a number of years and has done some other sessions and played with other people, but famously Jeff Beck's drummer. And there was a lot of scrutiny when she joined the band because Neil Peart is almost a completely unreplaceable character. He's held with such high regard in the world of drumming. Yeah. It's like no one could step into Neil's shoes. And, a lot of people also thought, well, if you're going to put Rush back together, you need insert name of famous superstar drummer here. But they took a slightly different route. So they heard about Annika through Geddy Lee's bass tech, because Geddy Lee's bass tech also was a guitar tech for Jeff Beck's band. And that's how they heard about Annika. So they invited her to the studio, and then they played a load of songs, and it started to gel. And it was decided that Rush would go back out on tour. So as I said, the tour is called the 50-something World Tour. They're playing 3 nights.
They've really done 50 tours?
Well, it's 50 years of the band.
Oh, I was thinking they've done 50 tours.
They've probably done more tours than 50 tours, but I mean, they've been playing for 50 years.
Yeah, I guess I forget that it's 2026, Tim, and maybe our theory that the 80s were only how many years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's not accurate, is it?
20 years ago. Anyhow,
I'm just saying the fact that they did 50 is kind of mind blowing to me. Continue.
Yeah. Anyhow, so they're in the middle of a 3-night residency in Los Angeles. And from there on in, they're starting on their world tour. And they're going all kinds of places, South America, United States, Canada, Europe, UK, etc., etc. It is a absolutely huge tour. And I've watched videos from the first couple of nights of the tour. And it's fair to say it is absolutely fantastic. Annika is completely nailing all the parts perfectly, as well as putting her own flair into it. They always look like classically that they were having a lot of fun playing, but like Alex Lifeson and Geddy Lee look like they're having the absolute time of their lives, and people in the audience love this. And the thing is, we've said before about Rush, I'm a casual Rush fan. I own the album 2112. I do have a box set, and I like pretty much the hits. I'm not super deep into this Rush world like a lot of people
but there's a cult following.
Yeah, they have a huge cult following. People who like Rush absolutely love Rush. They know everything about it. They know the lore. They know all the songs. They know all the jokes. They know everything. So, this first night, the forum was full of super fans, people who couldn't wait to hear Rush, the fact that they were back after the tragedy, and they got a new drummer, and see what it's like. And they said there was a lot of naysayers online before, this tour about, oh, no one can step into Neil's shoes, blah, 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 blah. It's fair to say, one song in, everyone went, yep, she's the one for the job.
Yay! We love it. And I like that as a female. Say what it is, but it's nice to see female representation in drumming. All right. So with that being said, Tim just reminded me that I'm older than I realized, because for some reason my brain was like 50 years. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, it probably is 50 years. With that being said, on that bit of news, this episode's going to be a little bit of a fun one. It's something we've hinted on and we talked a little bit about before, Tim. But I did my research because, as Tim has told you, we have been recording this podcast for 6 years now. And sometimes we have forgotten what we have talked about. So I went back to make sure this had not been a topic. It has not. But it's just something we've kind of danced around as a couple of episodes. And the name of this episode, Tim will put a little spin on it, should be something around like the words of, it doesn't mean what you think it means.
Okay.
We've talked a little bit about like wedding songs that aren't that great and different things like that, Tim. But we're going to really get into those lyrics that do not mean what you think they mean.
Okay. This should be interesting.
It will be. With that being said, I kind of categorized it into like 3 different kind of categories. We're going to start off a little bit about the wedding day ones. And the thing about it is I was at a wedding recently. And they played this song. And Tim and me have talked about the song. We all know this song. But I even felt a little bit like, why are you playing this at your wedding? In a very moment might have been them walking in and out. And it was everybody's favorite stalker song, Every Breath You Take by the Police. It's bad, Tim. It's just... And the thing about it is it doesn't even try to be like, it doesn't hide it. The literal title is Every Breath You Take. Am I wrong to say that you don't think the song hides that it's about stalking people?
No, I mean, it's known universally as the stalker song. But I mean, I suppose if you just take it at face value, every move you make, I'll be watching you. You're thinking a wedding. Oh, that's fantastic. My new beautiful bride, husband, whatever. I just can't wait to see them because every move they make and every breath they take. But yes, if you look at the rest of it, it's a very different dynamic.
What I want to talk about is I'm going to get a little bit more detailed on this, and that's why I want to do this episode, because we've hinted at, we all know this is a stalker song. But there's one line, and apparently it's a sonnet from Andy Summers' warm classical song that he wrote. The lyric is, every smile you fake, every claim you stake, I'll be watching you. And then Sting openly laughs at the misinterpretation, stating, he literally said, it's a nasty little song, very rather evil, when he describes it. He talks about that lyric, every smile you fake, every claim you stake, Tim. That is so interesting because at surface level, I don't know if people would pick apart that little part.
They to be honest with you, they probably don't.
Also, like, to say every smile you fake adds an extra kind of like, he's not wrong to say that is very maniacal, Tim. Something very maniacal about that statement.
Yeah, it has a lot more of a deeper sort of meaning than you think it ever would.
So, well, a lot of these songs do because we don't. I mean, to be fair, who's paying that close attention to it? You're taking it as a pop song on the radio. We've talked about this is one of the biggest grossing songs of all time, right, Tim? It was one of the first original MTV songs, things of that nature. Now, what's interesting though, for those who don't know, and we've talked about it, it is written by Sting in 1982. He said that it was he writ it Tim. That's what he did. He writ it. He wrote the song in Jamaica, which I thought was random, amid a toxic collapse of his first marriage. The song documents his own personal obsession, jealousy, and intense surveillance, which adds an extra level I didn't know.
There you go. Look at Sting. I know he's very happily married to Trudy now, but yeah, I didn't know that was the origins of this song.
Why they were in Jamaica, I have no idea. Who was he married to? Do you know who his first wife was?
I don't know.
Let's give it a goog. I don't know the answer. I don't know. It might not have been anyone who was even famous. You know what I mean?
It was probably Mrs. Sumner, if I had to guess.
Frances Tomalee. Okay, well, she's an Irish actress. And they met on the set of a musical Rock Nativity. And they have 2 children together. They filed for divorce in 1984 after Sting had an affair. And then he has the nerve to write a song about jealousy.
There you go.
I'm judging you, Sting, if you can hear this. Because he always listens to his podcasts.
He typically does in his island in Jamaica.
There you go. All right. Well, staying in our wedding kind of ridiculousness songs, this one is a song I don't know how familiar you are. I know you know this band. You know R.E.M., of course.
Of course.
1987, and the song is The One That I Love. Are you familiar with the song, Tim?
Yeah, and in fact, it was a song that came up on MTV the other morning. So as I've said many times, I have a playlist now that I play in the kitchen when I'm getting ready in the mornings, full of music videos on the Spotify that's called MTV. And I've effectively recreated the world of MTV. And this song came up on Shuffle on MTV the other day.
So for perspective, for those who might not know by name, because it did take me a second to recognize what song that was, because I just don't listen to R.E.M. that often, but it's this one goes out to the one I love. That rhythm, right, Tim? That's how it sounds. And then in the next line is this one goes out to the one I've left behind, a simple prop to occupy my time. Now, what's crazy is, though, it sounds like, and this is what I was getting, a beautiful, soaring kind of rock indie love song, but the frontman, Michael, wrote this as a devastating cold look at emotional manipulation. His words, I didn't make this up, and treating romantic partners as objects. And if you listen to that now, this one goes out to the one I love. This one goes out to the one I left behind. A simple prop to occupy my time. I would have never put that together, Tim, until I read that fact.
Yeah, I mean, you never know what these artists are thinking when they write these songs. Songs that are so in everyone's minds that you've heard 1,000 times. You just don't realize these are the origins. And sometimes you don't even pay attention to the lyrics that much.
I didn't, because I mean, I've heard that, and then, what he's saying, fire, and she's coming down on her own. I had never, for a really long time, this is going to be one of those, I got the lyrics wrong. You know how he goes, this one goes out to the one that I love, and then he does the fire part where it's like, fire. I thought he was saying something else for a very long time. I don't know what I thought he was saying, but it wasn't fire, Tim. I don't know what I thought it was.
I think I thought it was fire, but I honestly don't know.
Well, it sounds like when he's doing it, you just hear. So for those who aren't big into singing and stuff, a lot of times when it comes to especially when he's you just hear the vowels anyway. You don't hear any of the consonants. So I don't know. That's all I ever heard. You know what I mean? I just kind of heard that. And it was only until the last few years of my life I realized he was saying fire. I don't know what I thought he was saying, but I just heard, nah, nah. It's one of those ones where like I really didn't put too much thought into it because I've heard this song. And for those who don't know, I don't know if this is an American thing or if it's universal across the board. You could walk into every CVS ever and this song will be playing.
Oh, absolutely 100%. This is definitely on the CVS and Walgreens playlist.
I find it very interesting that you say that, though, because I feel like when you talk about REM, what does everybody think of? Losing My Religion, Shiny Happy People. Mm-hmm. I don't even know that people associate this song with REM, to be honest with you, Tim.
I also think of What's the Frequency, Kenneth. That's another song of theirs I like.
I think of Everybody Hurts, so that's another one I forgot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was everywhere.
For like 5 minutes, because that entire album, Automatic for People or whatever
Automatic
it was.
for the People, which is a sign outside a restaurant in Georgia, which is where the band are from.
That's kind of cool. That's a really cool album. I listen to it pretty often. I mean, Everybody Hurts. Now, what's interesting about songs that you don't know what they mean, if you've never paid close attention to Losing My Religion, that song has a lot of interesting details, Tim. We don't have time to get into that one because that one could be like a whole thesis on the world. Shiny Happy People is funny too because, as Tim says, they hate to play it, which is ironic because it's my favorite REM song.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame.
I love Shiny Happy People. I don't understand why it reads a little bit more like it should have been done by like the B-52s. I get it. But I kind of like that if you pay attention to the way it's written. This is kind of a band that really fits into this like topic, right, Tim? Because the songs they're writing. Oh, I just Googled it and it says Pierce said she felt the song was an homage to the B-52s. Look at me. Because I was looking at their album and I clicked on it and so I wasn't wrong. It does sound like a B-52 song, right? You hear it. Like I could totally hear that being a B-52 song.
Yeah.
But this is another song though that I thought, Tim, and maybe I can't give you the lyrics off of just like the top of my head, but I always thought like Shiny Happy People was a play on like fake people, or like I thought it had a deeper meaning than it meant. But then when you hear the people from REM talk about it, they just describe it as bubblegum pop. But I kind of thought with the way they write their music and the way things come out, I thought it was deeper than what it was.
I always took that song completely at face value.
You really did? I didn't. I took it as like, oh, little boxes made a ticky tack. You know what I mean? Like everybody lives in their little boxes and they're shiny, happy people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, apparently it's only Joy who thought that. But I always thought it was kind of supposed to be like a play on that because of the type of music REM does, right? Like if you want to look at Losing My Religion and things like that, those are very deep songs. So I never took it at surface value. But apparently it really was just supposed to be taken at surface value. Ironically. All right. So moving along to our next song. Oh, this is one that I know Tim will know. This is one that I hate. This is one I have personal animosity to. Lips of an Angel by Tinder.
I mean, Tinder, this is a song Tinder. I know of, but I'm not super familiar about it.
You remember in the early 2000s, though, when it was everywhere?
It was around the time that Hannah and I were traveling around to a lot of Hard Rocks. And as you know, the Hard Rocks have an MTV-style element where they have screens playing videos. It used to be, in the early days of Hard Rock, it was just music, and then they'd play occasional videos. And then, of course, it just went to all videos all the time. And yes, I remember this one playing in various Hard Rocks we visited on our various travels, mostly around the United States. So
I was in the youths of the world at this time. I don't know if you guys know this. There is an age gap between me and Tim, though we'll never know because no one will ever know Tim's true age. It's always up for debate. With that being said, Joy is 36 years old. So when she was in her youth, this song was everywhere. And there was this time frame where you had like this song and that Follow Me by Uncle Cracker and quite a few songs, Tim, that came out to him. Buck Cherry came out around this time. Mm-hmm. Now, I will say, me and Tim talked about we kind of like the Buck Cherry song. Take it for what it is. It might be a guilty pleasure, but I do like that one.
A song about Paris Hilton, in fact.
So with that being said, you can Google that later. This song was everywhere. And I was at the time where I was going to, because I'm American. If you haven't figured this out, we had our homecomings and our proms and our all these sporting events where there's actual music playing, right, Tim?
Mm-hmm.
And there was a whole genre of young men, and it was always the dude. It was always the dude who would dedicate this song to their insert girlfriend of the week on
The
repeat.
girlfriend of the week.
Write that on. I'm just saying we were 16 years old, right, Tim? Take it for what it is. But the song is about cheating. If you guys haven't actually, and the funny part about this song specifically, Tim, is it doesn't even try to hide it. He says, "Well, my girl's in the next room. Sometimes I wish it was you." Like he doesn't even hide it. Now, the Uncle Cracker, "Follow me and everything is all right." That was a little bit more like hidden, maybe not at surface, but this song is bluntly about a man saying, "I wish you were my girlfriend, and my girlfriend's in the next room listening to us." What, Tim? Like, it's like, I get it. Not everybody listens to the lyrics. I'm a lyric listener, Tim, and I don't know that you are, but I am. Are you a lyric listener, Tim?
Incredibly rarely. And then sometimes I'll listen to a song that has great lyrics and I'll go, that is genius.
And then sometimes I'll listen and I'm like, that is not genius. With that being said, we already did that episode, but yeah, this one is, Tim, the last lyric of the song is, "But girl, you make it hard to be faithful with the lips of an angel. Honey, why are you calling me so late?" And I have a very distinct memory. Proms, homecomings, weddings. And what good conscience I would like if my boyfriend, my husband, my flavor of the week, whatever you want to call it, dedicated this song to me, I would have walked out the door. I would have like flipped them up and walked out. Like, it's horrible. And I feel like this is a very nuanced experience that Tim did not have at this time in his life, but I did. And I'm surprised you haven't had to play this in like DJing or something. There was an obsession with this song for a very small amount of time in Southwest Virginia.
Yeah, not really, in all honesty.
The other one was that Sheryl Crow and oh, what is his name?
Kid Rock.
Yeah, that was another one that was everywhere
Picture.
for 5 minutes. God, I think I had PTSD. My eye twitched when you said the name. A little bit of a. Have you ever performed that one?
No, but I've listened to it many times. I mean, as you know, I love Sheryl Crow. Sheryl Crow is absolutely fantastic. And my understanding is that they recorded it for whatever reason. And then Kid Rock wanted to release it, and then she didn't want it to be released. And then he said, "Well, I'll just stick a sound alike in there then." And so she said, "Oh, you might as well just release it then." I think that's what went down.
Good, Cheryl. You knew it wasn't. If you can see my face right now of Tim saying he's listened to it by choice multiple times, there was an actual physical reaction on my face. I was like, ah.
Well,
by choice.
as I've said before, I've seen Kid Rock in concert at the Shepherd's Bush Empire in London.
I knew this was coming.
There are many songs by Kid Rock that I enjoy. And to some degree, I would probably still listen to them. Do I agree with anything Kid Rock is about or supports or stands up for? Absolutely not. However, because I enjoyed a lot of his music before we found out who he was, I somehow can still listen to that. And I get you. I completely get you.
No, I just hate that song Picture. Like, take him out of it, Tim. I just don't think it's a good song. It's whiny to me. Like, no, honestly.
And it was one of those songs that, like, I'm sure was sung at every single karaoke.
And if you grew up in, that's another one I'm saying, like, it was everywhere. If you grew up in Southwest Virginia in the time, what year did Picture come out? Hold on, Picture. I'm giving it a go, y'all. I don't know what year it came out. 2001. So like right around early 2000, this song was everywhere. I couldn't get away from it. Take Kid Rock out of it. Take Sheryl Crow out of it. I just legitimately hate the song because I think I just got so burnt out of it. And it is a very whiny, intense song. And I've said this for years, and someone on the internet is going to be like, "Oh, you sound very surface level intelligence," which is not true. if you find this to be a surface level intelligent thought, then that's on you. I'm just going to say that now. Don't come for me, internet. It's true though. I love when people are like, music's supposed to make you feel emotions and it's supposed to make you feel these things, and you should feel it in your heart and your gut. And this song is a very intense song, right, Tim?
Yeah.
For those who don't know, I put your picture away. Go Google that later. Anyway, literally the next line is like, I sat down and cried today or something. Sometimes I just like my music to make me feel happiness. And happiness is an emotion, Tim. And it's an emotion that I enjoy. I feel like as a human, sometimes there's so much thought process in that music should make us feel a certain way, right, Tim? We should feel all these grandiose, intense emotions. But that's fine. If that's for you, that's for you. But sometimes I just like music to make me feel happy, and I will stand by that. And one time I was talking to Brandy, my twin sister, and she's coin was phrasing this: happiness is an emotion.
I mean, that's true. I mean, in fact, you've said that before, and I agree with you.
So that's why I think that it takes Kid Rock as a person out, which, by the way, the name of this album, Tim, with what you just said about what he did to Sheryl Crow is Cocky.
Yeah.
So anyway, but take him out as a human because we can. I just think the song's kind of whiny. I just don't like it. It's a song that's just not me. It will never be me. I like my music to make me happy. All right. Now this is a song that does make me happy, but I mean, I knew it for what it was, but I actually have only learned recently that it has like some hidden agenda. Tim will know this song, at least at surface value. He's probably DJ'd it. It's Hey Ya by Outkast.
Yeah, yes, I have DJ'd it because back in the days when I was running the disco, as it were, with Moroccan Soul, this was one that was on one of my many CDs or CDRs that I used to play. And people used to love this. I mean, I think its popularity has fallen off to some degree, but I'm now going to learn about what it's actually about.
So what's interesting is, this is the song for those who don't have like a reference, but it's the Shake It Like a Polaroid Picture song, right? That's what it's famous for. And the girls in the video are shaking it with the Polaroid picture of their head. It's kind of fun. So what's interesting is Andre 3000 from Outkast wrote this as a bleak critique of modern relationships, highlighting how couples stay trapped in loveless marriages out of habit and fear of loneliness. And we and Tim have talked about, we know people in our lives who they were more friends than they were an actual couple, right? We've talked about this.
Sure.
He says, but there's a lyric in it that says, why are you so in denial when we know you're not happy here, right? I remember that exact phrase. And then he says, why don't y'all hear me? You just want to dance. So he's calling out the fact that he says, why are you still in a relationship when I know you're not happy? And then the next thing is, he's like, hey, why don't you hear me talking? Y'all just want to dance. And then there's a raunchy line that I can't say. If you want to Google it later, you get the idea. Mm-hmm. But that's really like at its surface level, it's bluntly saying, why are you in a relationship if I know you're not happy? And the next line is, oh, y'all don't want to hear me. You just want to dance. So it literally is a critique of people not acknowledging the world around them. Well, who would have known that Shake It Like a Polaroid
significantly deeper than I thought it ever would be.
Much deeper than I thought it would be. And here I am applying deep thoughts into shiny, happy people. And apparently I was wrong. I thought it was like a play on stereotype of like shiny, happy people. Right, Tim? You see how that could be a stereotype in some way.
Sure.
No, but apparently Hey Ya is. And now I want to go analyze the lyrics because I know that I know the exact line I'm talking about when they're like, why are you so in denial when I know you're not happy here? But I had never, because, and then like it goes straight into like Shake It Like a Polaroid Picture. It just goes to show you, though, you could literally do anything in your music. And as long as it has the right sound, the right beats per minute, the right orchestra, Tim, probably become famous. Probably.
You never know how it's going to turn out.
That 115 BPM funk kind of sound will always work out for someone somewhere. All right. Now, this is a song, I don't know if you know this, Tim. I'm assuming you do. I hope you do, because it's a very sad song, actually. And this is one that I feel like people would know, but if we did this episode, we'd be amiss if we didn't bring it up. It is Pumped Up Kicks by Foster the People. Are you familiar with the song, Tim?
This is a song I have never heard of.
So this song came out a few years ago, and it's this one that was actually used in a car commercial and a few things, and it has that kind of like real high, those upbeat car commercial songs, and it's like all the other kids with the pumped up kicks, you better run, and it's got that rhythm. Guess what the next lyric is? You better run, outrun my gun. So it's literally kind of doing it's very much in the sound. It's very upbeat. It's got a car commercial sound, but it's about school shooters.
Yeah, that's maybe not a song that I would have picked out for use in a car commercial like that.
Well, if you just hear the opening, and it has gotten a lot of has breezy kind of upbeat indie. This isn't on our list, but Sibby Charm Life, the song from the 90s, you know how it's literally about doing crystal meth, but it sounds very upbeat. It's the same thing. And it is like a psychological thriller. It's kind of like when the guy from that horror movie is listening to, Hip to Be Square in his headphones, like that kind of Jealous fixation. That's what they were going for. What is that movie? Psycho? Psycho? Tim doesn't know. He doesn't watch movies either.
I've never seen Psycho, so I
But
have
do
no
you know
idea.
what I'm talking about? You've seen the thing where the guy he's getting ready to go commit the murder. He puts the headphones on and Huey Lewis in the news is playing in his ears. I think you've seen that gif before.
No.
What? Wait, no. So we have to back up on that. So I've never watched the movie Psycho, but I have to. Now I'm genuinely interested. So there's this scene in this movie is Psycho, and he's obviously a psycho killer. And I at one point, it literally does the psycho killer say song too, right? We just talked about in the last episode. But he's at work and he's wearing his very like business attire, very like finance kind of bro looking dude, right? And he's like supposed to be a square, and he's literally getting ready to go commit this murder. He has headphones on to him, and Huey Lewis' "Hip to Be Square" is playing, and it's supposed to set up a jealous fixation of like the song versus what he's about to do. You've never seen that?
No.
Does it ring a bell?
No, not in the slightest.
That's crazy because I've never even watched the movie, and I know that like historic. Tim really does make an effort to weirdly live under a rock, and it should be like written in the world of like, how does he do this? Because how have you never like I've never even watched the movie and I know that.
It's because I only consume the media
American
that I like.
Psycho. Continue,
See,
sorry.
I don't listen to the radio. We don't have TV service, and I curate everything I watch and I listen to. And it's I would not waste my time watching or learning about a film called Psycho that I've never seen and I have no interest in.
To be fair, I could have been wrong. So Hit to Be Square plays when he's doing the murder, but what is playing when he's doing the headphone scene? I thought it was the same song. I thought that was like do you know what I mean? But maybe it's another Huey Lewis in the like. By the way, Huey Lewis in the news made so much money off of this movie. I've never watched American Psycho, in case anybody's wondering. Oh, it's even funnier, Tim. When he's walking, it's Katrina and the Waves walking on sunshine. Hip to Be Square is played later when he's wearing the outfit and then he's murdering someone. So there you go.
Yeah.
But the idea was the headphones were very happy.
As I said, all of this is new information. I have no idea about
nothing to Tim. He has no idea. All right. Well, anyway. We'll just leave that alone. Someone's yelling at you in the distance. Now, this song I do know. I love this song. This is a song I probably listen to once, twice, 3 times a week. And I know it has a very disturbing kind of reference point to it, but it is also just exactly what we were talking about the last 2 songs where they sound happy, Tim. This is The Way by Fastball from 1998.
Okay, a song I've heard of. Again, I don't have any encyclopedic knowledge about this song other than I've just heard of it.
So for those who don't know this song, it's a story about a couple who walk off into the distance, pretty much. I think it's been used in about every movie ever from the 90s. It's a Latin-infused 90s alt-rock song, coupled with like a couple escaping their boring lines. Frontman Tony wrote the track after reading a tragic local news about a story about an elderly couple in Texas with advanced cognitive decline who drove away and perished.
Okay.
The story involves an 83-year-old man and an 80-year-old woman. who became disoriented and drove off into a ravine. Romanticized their tragic end. They left before the sun came up, and this is like, I love this actually. It's a beautiful line. They left before the sun come up that day and exit to the internal summer slacking. And I think though, like it does kind of have a little bit of like a melancholy kind of feel to it. Like at some point in time, it's very fun. It's very 90s pop, but it has like a draw to it. I love this song, by the way. I could listen to this song every day for the rest of my life. Just in case anybody's wondering. I don't know anything about this band, and I would generally think they're one-hit wonders, right? I don't know who Fastball
I've
is.
not heard anything else about them.
Fastball. Let's see. I'm giving them a goog. One-hit wonders. They're probably on a one-hit wonder episode, Tim, and we don't remember. Yeah, they are. They've never done anything else. But the whole point is the musicality of it. It was, again, a song that was probably used in every 90s movie since the beginning of time, probably car commercials and everything else. And it's literally a song that he wrote about an older couple women driving off into a ravine.
Interesting.
Had you never picked up on those lyrics, Tim?
No, not really. As I said, I'm not really a lyric person.
You never thought about it?
And even in songs that I deeply love.
I mean, this one's kind of in your face, Tim.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm always listening to the musicianship rather than the lyrics. It's like there's a David Lee Roth song called Just Like Living in Paradise. And there's a line in it that says, I was vaccinated with a phonograph needle one summer break. And I think that's a really cool line because, I mean, he didn't write the song, but it's implying that, he made a discovery in life during like a summer break one time and he discovered all the music, which then formed the rest of his life. But I just thought that was it was a cool line. I only discovered that after the 25 years of listening to that song.
Yeah, I don't think I would have picked up on that's what that meant, Tim. I'm not going to lie. There was a recent thing where Taylor Swift, now I will say, controversially, don't come from me. I'm not a Taylor Swift fan when it comes to her music. Take it for what it is. That's not insulting her. If you like her, you like her, right, Tim?
Yeah.
But she's just not personally my favorite. But she was talking about a song she wrote. It was talking about something about before the mahogany hits the table or something. And it was a reference to paying the check before it hits the table. And she was kind of talking about the prose she put in. It was about like a mahogany. And I was like, yep, I would have never gotten that. But good on you, Taylor.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have ever registered with me.
Yeah, I mean, say what you like about Taylor Swift. She does write her own songs.
Exactly. And we're not here to insult her because we will get canceled. Not that we're already not. I don't know that we have enough of a fan base, but we don't need to lose the ones that we have, Tim. Her fan base will come for you. With that being said, this is a song I know Tim definitely knows. This is a song Tim knows the lore behind, and he has his own Christmas version of it. It's the Macarena.
Yes, a famous song. I mean, the lyrics are not even in English, so I don't even know what's going on there.
So it's a detail about a woman named Macarena who gleefully cheats on her boyfriend with his two best friends while he's away serving in the military, Tim.
Oh, I see. I didn't know that.
At-home class. I mean, to be fair, I think the funnier part is when you think about it at surface value. So I don't know anyone who listens to this podcast who doesn't know what the Macarena is, but I'll give it a little bit of background. Everybody from the time Joy was a brownie and Girl Scout at 5 years old was doing the Macarena with 80-year-old Girl Scout troop, right, Tim? It became a phenomenon. You had George Bush Sr., or whatever George Bush it was, doing it on TV. The irony, though, is if you look back at, like how everybody was doing it, Tim, that was like the thing.
Oh, it was absolutely, for a moment of time, it was such a cultural phenomenon.
Yes. And the funny thing about it now, looking back, is the fact that they had like the president, a conservative white male president on TV doing the Macarena to a song about a Latin woman who cheated on her husband in the military with his two best friends.
Yeah, I think because it's not sung in English. And for a lot of people, they only speak one language, that being English. They wouldn't even pick up on that.
It's kind of hilarious, actually. The more you think about it, because I remember, so for those who don't know, I started Girl Scouts when I was about 6 years old. And when you're, I think when you're in kindergarten, which is when you're 5 years old in America, which is the first year of regular school for elementary kind of primary students kind of thing, right, Tim? I don't know do you start at 5 in England? How old do you start?
So you start primary school when you're 5. And then for me, I
Okay.
was in primary school from the age of 5 through 12. And then at the age of 12 and a half, 13, you then go to secondary school and you stay there till you're either 16 or 18 if you stay to the end to do the sixth form.
So in America, it's not that dissimilar. So you have your elementary is what we call, but it's the same thing as primary. You hear it called both. They're kind of used like Tim would say interchangeably, same thing. Start at 5. That's what we call kindergarten. And then you have one first grade, which is the next year when you're 6, up till about 6th or 7th grade, depending on the primary school you're in, which is about what Tim said, 12, right?
Yeah.
Then once you hit about 11 or 12, you go to middle school, which is like 2 to 3 years. And then you go to high school, which is 3 to 4 years, depending on the high school. Sometimes middle school is called junior high. It's like a little, like in America, they kind of give you like a little segue between your primary years and the upper school as like a way to kind of like teach you some of the rhythms that you're going to need. Take it for what it is, but that's kind of the process. Anyway, the reason this comes up though is when I was in kindergarten at 5, I wasn't in Girl Scouts. And that was called, you were Sunflower Girls, I think. Something sunflower, Tim. But my mom never let me do it. She just didn't think I was quite old enough to grasp it, which I actually agree with. So then in first grade, you go into what's known as brownies in Girl Scouts. And so, but I distinctly remember in like first, and you're in brownies for like 3 or 4 years, and then you go to juniors and so on and so forth. I distinctly remember at some point in time when I was in brownies, Tim, doing the Macarena with as 6 years old with like all of our Girl Scout leaders in a room. And I'm looking back thinking now, they literally had us dancing at 6 years old to a song about a woman who cheated on her husband in the military with his 2 best friends. Like looking back now, like what? It's crazy. What do you remember the first time you did the Macarena, Tim?
I mean, I think I've done the Macarena, but I can't remember.
I remember doing it a lot, like in like what I was just talking about, like events as a kid. And then when I used to go roller skating, which is weird for those who know Joy breaks her ankle looking at things. Joy used to be amazing at roller skating, did it every week for the rest of her, like for years. It was like my go-to sport, right, Tim? Couldn't do it again now if I tried, but for like 10 plus years of my life, I would do it. I would do the Macarena on roller skates.
I mean, at this point, Joy, I would not let you wear roller skates for one. And secondly, if I saw you attempting to do the Macarena on roller skates, I would come over, cover you in bubble wrap, and then just do the best I can to save you.
To be fair, I did go roller skating 2 years ago and I didn't break anything, but I'm much more physically diverse than I was as a kid. So gravity is not the same as what I learned in that moment. But that being said, those are my reference points as doing the Macarena. Anyway, I do think it's funny, though, looking back that I was 6 years old doing the Macarena in a room with a bunch of 6-year-olds and all our Girl Scout leaders. And the song was about a girl cheating on a military guy with his 2 best friends. It is kind of humorous in its own way. I'm just saying. All right. Now, this one is going to fall more in the political anthem sphere, I guess, Tim. Take it for what it is. Born in the USA, Bruce Springsteen. I'll let you take it from here because I know you know this one.
So I know about this song. The original demo of Born in the USA was a very kind of down, minor key, acoustic song. When it became a song off the album, the producer made it in this big bombastic kind of anthem type song, and we're saying "Born in the USA," and political people have used it as like political anthems for their campaigns. But what it's actually about is a Vietnam veteran who went and fought for the United States, came back to his little small town to find that nobody cared about him. He didn't have a job, he didn't have any money, and he was a no one.
So I have a little bit of personal experience. My father is a Vietnam vet. He has spoken ad nauseum about the fact that he came home from war and the way he was treated was absolutely despicable. Now, to be fair, though, this song is not in any capacity. So Tim was talking about political Ronald Reagan. It was Ronald Reagan. He tried to use it. He got sued. It was the whole thing.
I think Bush Jr. used it as well.
Wow, that might have happened too. I mean, it does, Born in the USA sounds like a battle cry if you don't look at it any past surface level. The funny part about this, though, when I've known this, as someone who is a lyric listener, Tim, I'm actively someone who listens to lyrics, send me off to a foreign land to go and kill the yellow man.
Yeah, I mean,
is a lyric in that song.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is not a cool lyric to write, but I mean, it's being written from the perspective of a very angry ex-Vietnam veteran who's come home.
Yeah, it's a gross lyric to write, and we don't have to get into the context of how that would be. But the point of what I'm getting at is it's not hiding what it is. It's literally just exactly what I was just talking about, like with the pumped up kicks and all this. It sounds happy. Yeah. And that is probably why, in true form, I always assumed Shiny Happy People, because of the historical kind of music that R.E.M. did, Tim, was like a play on like stereotypical Shiny Happy People. Mm-hmm. I never thought it was serious. I always took it that way, which apparently was wrong. But it's because that this happens a lot with music where they sound very upbeat, happy, and people don't ever look past the syntax, I guess. So take it for what it is. Now, this is another one we've talked about on this podcast, but we're going to stay in this realm. I couldn't talk about that last one without talking about this one. This is one that Tim's probably played 1,000 times in his entire life. We've all heard 1,000 times in our entire life. My father, as a Vietnam vet, has made jokes about this song. Tim's going to guess it. Creedence Clearwater Revival, and it's Fortunate Son.
Yeah. I would imagine it's probably the exact reverse meaning of Fortunate Son, if I had to guess.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is. It's saying, I'm not a fortunate son. I'm going to go fight the war.
Yeah.
The senator didn't give me a silver spoon in my mouth, so take it for what it is. So, I mean, if you literally thought that was a pro-military thing, no, it's an angry anti-war classic protest about wealthy elite children who got to dodge the draft because their senator, so on. I'm not a senator's son. He says that in the song.
Yeah.
So I wasn't even making the joke. John Fogerty was inspired by watching political elite families get married during the draft, raising their kids, and then realizing that their kids would never face combat. Some folks are born made to wave the flag, ooh, the red, white, and blue. But when the band plays Hail to the Chief, oh, the cannon is pointed at you.
Yeah.
And then he talks about having a silver spoon in his mouth. Now, the funny thing is for those who don't realize why I was making a reference to this song has been played ad nauseum. This and probably Bad Moon Rising, maybe Green. What's the other one? Green
River.
Tim can't listen to Green River again, but let's a little bit that one. But Bad Moon Rising and Fortunate Son have been played in every movie related to the Vietnam War to any capacity possible. And it's always they're getting in the kids who didn't get out of being drafted are getting in the helicopter, right, Tim? And they're flying up and this song is playing in the helicopter. And then insert when stuff goes wrong, Hair of the Dog by Nazareth starts that.
Yeah, it is so overused at this point.
And my dad, who I've talked about, he was a Vietnam veteran. He was a POW in Vietnam. He has an extensive kind of war history there. So I have a very firsthand knowledge about someone in my life like this. And he even jokes about it. Because there was a Family Guy episode where it was like, and no one warned us when we were going into the war about the extensive use of Fortunate Son. And they're all getting in the helicopter and they're just all hearing it going, I can't listen to it one more time. Like even my father laughed for 20 minutes about that. Like he knows. It's a great song. I love John Fogerty and I love CCR. I will be a diehard CCR fan till I die, but it is a little overplayed.
Yeah, it's at this point it is far too much.
Question though, Tim, what is your favorite CCR song?
The problem for me is they are all overplayed because CCR somehow gets played in local cover bands in Southwest Virginia.
Is it because every song's only 4 chords?
Yeah, well, and things like, Green River, that might have been a great song, but I've played it over
There's
and
not
over
any
and
that you
over
like at
again.
all?
It's just too much. I honestly, off the top of my head, I can't even think of one because it's polluted by it being overplayed.
Look It Out My Back Door is fine.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great song.
I love that song. I will say, though, but to be fair, it is only, 4 chords, Tim?
I mean, they're all of them. I mean, it's not like the music of Rush, for example. I mean, it's great music, but it's very simplistic in its nature.
Joy learned to play the ukulele in the last 3 years. Joy can play 3 to 4 chord songs. One of the first songs Joy learned on that ukulele was "Looking Out My Back Door" by
There we
CCR.
are.
So take it for what it is, everybody. It was not a hard learn, and I do think that plays into. But is CCR's like huge? I was clapping, so if you guys heard that in the microphone, don't make Tim take it out of the podcast. That was just me getting excited. But Tim, is CCR an American phenomenon, or are they just a universally like loved, or is it something in Southwest Virginia that we just have an obsession with them as a band?
It is a US phenomenon. People know sometimes of the music of CCR, but I
Really?
think the passionate love of CCR is most certainly a US thing.
And it is like, I mean, I grew up on CCR. There's literally no one. You could go out to anyone who lives in the area me and Tim looked, and they might not know whatever song, but if you said name one CCR song, they could, Tim.
Oh,
That
yeah.
is a band that I generally, it ranks up with Journey, to be honest.
Yeah.
Though I like CCR better. I just will say, if I never hear "Put Me in Coach," I'm ready to play today. It'll be a good. John Fogerty. What were you? You didn't play baseball. Why did you write that song?
I honestly have no idea.
I have PTSD from hearing that song so many times. All right. Another song Tim will know. Another song I had. This is one I didn't know, Tim. A lot of these I kind of had some inkling, you know what I mean, what the back and forth was. American Woman by the Guess Who.
Yeah, also famously covered by Lenny Kravitz.
Which is probably the one everybody knows more than their version.
Yeah, I'd probably say so at this point.
So apparently, American Woman is a direct metaphor rejecting the United States military-industrial complex.
Okay.
What? I don't think I knew that, Tim. Did you know that?
Absolutely not, no.
So for those who don't know, the Guess Who are a Canadian band. In Ontario, one time, they said the lyrics, this was them speaking on it, the lyrics reflect a band touring the U.S. during the Vietnam War. Again, here we go. American Woman, stay away from me. I don't need your war machines. I don't need your ghettos. It does say that, Tim. It bluntly says that. I've never. This is the one. This is the one I didn't know. I would have never thought that American Woman was about the military industrial complex in America. I'm not going to lie.
Well, again, you these things surprise you.
I mean, to be honest with you, I always thought it was just Lenny Kravitz wailing a wail over there singing about American women.
I mean, but I know he spent quality time with a French lady, and I think his current partner is not American. So
Take it for what it is. Maybe we should have realized there was some complex. Because to be honest with you, when I hear the song, I only think of the Lenny Kravitz version. Do you think of the Guess Who version? I don't.
No, at this point, it would be the Lenny Kravitz one I think about.
And this song was everywhere when he came out with it. I don't even know that half the people in America would know it was a remake or cover or whatever you want to say.
No.
It's not one that people talk about. The Guess Who version's okay, but it's kind of bland. I think Lenny really kind of, I mean, he's Lenny Kravitz. He's got that showmanship.
He has indeed. And he also has like a massive scarf.
Or a hat. He does a massive scarf and a hat a few times. There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
it's like he's like a present, Tim, and you got to unwrap the scarf to find Lenny Kravitz. I don't know. But if you don't know what we're talking about, Google Lenny Kravitz and his big brown scarf.
Of course. Well, I tell you what, Joy, I think you've probably got time for about one more, I would say.
All right. Well, I'm going to give us one that's a little bit more obscure. Not obscure in the sense that we all know the song, but obscure in the sense that I did not know this had hidden whatever, and Tim probably doesn't either. This is Hook by the Blues Traveler. Are you familiar with the song, Tim?
I am indeed. John Popper, the famous harmonica virtuoso of Blues Traveler. Is this taken from their Blues Traveler album 4?
It is. It is. Correct.
I thought
Which was in
probably,
1994, everybody.
Yeah, this is one of these CDs that you can go to any thrift shop anywhere in the country right now, and you can find probably multiple copies of Blues Traveler's Floor 4.
So the point of this song, just so for those who don't know, is John Popper explicitly states he wrote this song to be complete nonsense, to prove that as long as a musical hook is catchy, the public will blindly follow it.
There
That's
we
it, the
are.
hidden mode. I mean, the song is called Hook. I really can't think of any of the lyrics that's on my head, but it says the chord progression is in direct note for note copy of Pachelbel's canon at D minor, which I used to sing Pachelbel's canon in D minor, and I don't think I noticed that, Tim.
No.
For those who don't know this, and Tim has actually seen video footage of Joyce singing in choirs in college and things like that. I was studying things like Pachelbel's canon in D minor. There are versions with lyrics, and yeah, I didn't notice that. Now I actually kind of want to go back and hear it. So he says that the most structurally manipulative chord progression in history, Popper laughs, and the listener's face singing, it doesn't matter what I say, so long as I say it with inflection. That makes you think that I'll be true because the hook brings you back. And it became a top 40 #1 hit.
There we are. I mean, as I said, you're peeling back the onion layers of all this music that we never knew.
I didn't know that about Hook, to be honest with you. A lot of these are kind of new, some type of innuendo like Bruce Springsteen, but Hook is a new one. All right. Well, with that, Tim, is there anything else you'd like to leave the people?
Just be kind to everyone that you meet, and I'd just like to say, Ian Gilding, rock in peace, sir.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.